Hey everybody, welcome to TFT, Tarot for Today, Divine Dabblings with
Oberon.
and me, Banshee.
Hi, everyone.
And this is
Your
your Weird
week.
Week. Welcome to everybody's Weird Week.
Yes.
Last week was a pretty weird week.
It's not just yours, it's everyone's.
It's everyone's.
So what happened last week?
My gosh, there was so many different things in the news last week. It's really kind of hard to decide what this all referred to. But oh,
Well, we definitely had some contenders here.
I really messed up there. Okay. I kind of get the feeling that these cards could have been about a few different things,
Several,
right? As we looked at them. First off, the Trump indictment was finally released. Second off, the Putin-Belarus nuclear agreement. Putin admitted that they had an agreement with Belarus to move nuclear weapons onto Belarus soil. A Wall Street Journal was arrested and is being held. I said Wall Street Journal. Wall Street Journal journalist is being held in Russia for spying. We have Netanyahu, who decided to delay the constitutional changes he was planning that everybody, literally, in the country is protesting right now.
Massive.
And finally, some late-breaking news towards the end of this last week. There's going to be an inquiry going on, I think, by the Attorney General office in Switzerland to see if the emergency state-backed USB takeover of Credit Suisse, the big bank, breached criminal law, because there's been a lot of complaints about that. So, holy moly. The cards we had last week, we'll go through these.
Mm-hmm.
We had the Fool reversed for the major focus theme tone for the week.
Mm-hmm.
And the Fool reversed, as you know, is making a misstep, taking a risk where there may be some consequences.
Foolish behavior.
Foolish behavior.
Or not warranted.
For card 2, we had what we will find out or see, kind of like the mysteries. And card 2 talks about the Six of Pentacles reversed. Some inequities going on, some unfairness or underhanded things.
So it would tend to be probably on a bigger playing field, but really, a lot of the things that are going on right now with all the banking stuff is about pointing out that inequity.
Yes. And card 3, which is about what other perspectives need to be considered, is the Page of Wands reversed, which to me is, again, some plans or, plans or goals may be delayed or kaplooey. They just don't work out.
Right. Something is not meeting the sniff test in certain respects.
And also, there could be some bad news. I think this can fit a lot of things. So, card 4, what is the overall impact? And that was the Page of Wands again, but upright this time. So, somebody has something to gain out of all of this and is feeling good about it.
Well, the overall impact could just be that maybe more truthful journalism or news is appreciated or wins the day in some respects.
Well, we're on card 5, and I don't think anybody won the day because it was the Star reversed, which sounds pretty much like there's an aura of pessimism, a lot of concern, a lot of worry about the future.
Right, we could see people pulling back from investments or all kinds of things.
Well, let's take a look at all of this because I think any one of these scenarios could apply, and I think we got to be brief. Okay. But let's look at Trump indictment, for example. Personally, one might argue that the person taking the risk here, in the beginning, the major focus theme is Alvin Bragg. He took a major risk here, right?
Interesting point.
In taking this case, moving it forward, and going with these charges. Obviously, this sets precedents. Obviously, there are expectations on either side of this argument. And it's already stirred up a lot of foment on, the MAGA side and also with other Republicans.
So to me, it seems that the Six of Pentacles reversed indicates what we have found, which is it just calls the very deep divisions
Yes.
into
The
fight.
inequities, and they're feeling, others are crying unfair, unfair. Others are crying, we need this balance of justice. And so, that's where we're at. Six of
Yeah,
Pentacles
this
reversed.
fits really well.
And so then the Page of Wands for card 3, what other perspectives need to consider is, well, what happens if all this backfires? What if this risk doesn't, what if it doesn't pan out? Because there is a risk, even a legal risk with some of these charges. You have to have a pretty good, strong case. So hopefully Alvin Bragg does, but if he does not, this could all backfire. And let's put it another way. This could all backfire on Donald Trump, too.
That's a good point, too.
So, but then we had card 4, which is the overall impact, and suddenly we got the Page of Wands upright. So is the overall impact the good news that, nobody is above the law and he will have to face court and he can defend himself in court?
I would think that's what it means.
Card 5, though, there's a lot of worry. Everybody's worried of what's going to come of this, right?
Right, that maybe it's just all a big nothing burger.
No, not just that there'll be fights, this will rip the country apart further.
Well, that too, yes.
There are people now who are talking in Congress about defunding the DOJ and the New York law people, for doing this. So we're going to defund law enforcement and stuff for doing their job. This is crazy stuff.
In this sense, the star reverse sort of sounds like a real breakup in order.
Now, Putin, Belarus, and the nuclear agreement, clearly here, this is a really big risk that could backfire.
Yes.
Could it cause Poland to want nuclear weapons on their soil from NATO? I don't think they have it now. I'm pretty sure, but so I'm just saying, could this cause more of an arms buildup on these borders?
It's that Six of Pentacles reverse thing again, saying
well, that
inequities.
too. Everybody's trying to vie for being one-upping the other side. It's getting pretty ugly with that.
There's a lot of perspectives with
And
that.
the Page of Wands reversed. This could just be some very bad news for all of us, really. And then the Page of Wands upright. Somebody has something to gain from this. Well, Putin has something to gain, of course. I don't know if Belarus has as much to gain. Maybe they do. Maybe they feel more comfortable with that. Okay, and then the Page of Wands upright, the star reversed indicates everybody's worried. Everybody's worried about this nuclear talk and where all of this is leading.
Again, nothing wins.
Yeah. So a Wall Street Journal journalist held in Russia, another risk taken here by Putin, holding this journalist, for spying charges. I think it's ironically coming on the heels of the U.S. just charging somebody with spying for Russia not that long ago. I'm pretty sure I heard that, but I couldn't dig it up in the news in time for the show. So,
well, the
Go
fool
ahead.
reversed in all of these scenarios just means foolish behavior or a folly on the part of that person.
And so then the Six of Pentacles, of course, everybody's trying to make trades. Everybody's trying to get the better of the other side. Like, what is Putin going to ask for in exchange for this Wall Street Journal reporter?
Because that's happening.
That's going to happen. All right. And then, of course, we've got the win-loss scenario. Somebody's gaining, somebody's losing. I'm not going to go into that, but I think we can see how the both pages fit into this. And then finally, the star reversed is, again, this is just not a happy situation at all. For either side, there's going to be pressures. So finally, the last two, Netanyahu in Israel, is delaying this is just saying he's going to delay his changes the right thing to do, because what he's trying to do is trying to wait for protests to die down. He thinks they're just going to go away, right?
They're not, though.
But did they? No, they didn't.
That's the two sides perspective thing again.
They were still protesting this week, so is this gamble worth it? Six of Pentacles reversed, it just seems like there is an imbalance here, and people know it. People know it. They want a righting of the scales. The Page of Wands. Netanyahu thinks he has something to gain by this, but the bottom line is that with the Page of Wands reversed here, this is a maneuver that could be bad news for him. It could be the spell, the end of his government at some point.
I can't really pinpoint this all exactly on that, but a lot of these things revolve around maybe more authoritarian or whatever autocrat kind of styles of management, and they're backfiring.
And finally, we going to cover the Page of Wands upright. The Star reversed again is like, this isn't going to. This is probably not going to end well for Netanyahu.
To say nothing of how many others it just fills with a sense of hopelessness or abandonment.
Last one. This Swiss bank thing is really intriguing to me. And, I think the cards could really almost be signaling this. Was this a major misstep in the government doing this takeover in the way they did? Should they have thought this out more?
Right, like all the other things too, the second card sort of shows there's so much inequity perspectives that have to be taken into account. Everybody's got a side here.
Apparently, there's a lot of people complaining, I don't know if it's investors, whatever, bank people, that are complaining about how this went down and was it legal? And that leads to card 3, the Page of Wands reversed. This could be bad news for the Swiss government, They're being investigated now by their Attorney General for wrongdoing.
Oy.
And the Page of Wands upright, somebody had something to be gained by all of this, but who? Who does this benefit? That's the question. And finally, ultimately, this could go bad and kind of be, everybody's a little bit more pessimistic too about the state of the banking industry at this point and what the heck is going on. So, hey, A, B, C, or D. I kind of like the Trump indictment for this, but I will also say that I really think the Swiss bank is intriguing. But also, maybe that journalist being held in Russia, too.
When you think that all these scenarios really fit into these cards so well, it really makes you wonder what's going on.
And I wanted to bring up the fact that, besides having the Page of Wands come up twice, 2 different ways, we started this reading with the Fool reversed. We ended this reading with the Star reversed. 2 major arcana cards reversed, and they're not happy cards.
Right. And it just plays to the idea that there's very much bigger forces maybe that are not necessarily realized that are involved here.
So, what the heck could happen this week, huh?
Well,
first off, we know Trump is going to be arraigned this week. That's going to be big news. And who knows what else? The weather is big news. It's wreaking havoc throughout the United States right now. I'm not sure about world weather, so I can't speak to that. Right. But let's take a look at what's happening. We're going to start with our first card and use the My Twin Tarot Oracle deck, which is 2 major arcana decks in one. One is upright interpretations and one deck is reversed.
And so this is about the focus for the week or what tone it seems to be setting.
Yeah. Let's turn in that so you can see it better.
Yeah, mine on screen there's a little tiny. I could lean in a little bit.
You had it up for your... I should have seen that.
I thought you knew that.
Well,
no, I knew you didn't.
No. And you know what? I might even have problems reading that one, so...
I could probably enlarge it, but I'm not going to bother.
Oh, that's good. Mine is in bold. So you're looking at the old...
Yes.
Okay.
There we go.
I do want to get that off of there, I think. But anyway, let me cut. Ooh. It is the positive aspect of judgment. Retribution's coming. Oh my, is that the indictment?
It's judgment upright. And so the tone of this week will be about people that maybe are in the fights of their life in terms of, judgments or cases going on. This could be both very professional, legal things going on in the world, or it could also be, in the world of how we personally are looking at some of these things happening to us. Those of us that maybe are making very strong judgments about personal things in our lives too. But we like to keep this with you know what.
Well, outside of justice, I mean, the criminal justice, which, again, this is a card of what you sow, you will reap, and hopefully it'll be good stuff if you've been a good boy. But if you haven't, it might go against you. But this is also a card of transformation and renewal, so it could be something that just changes the dynamics in a situation a little
Right.
bit.
I mean, this could be something really breaking in the sense that maybe, some people really have some sort of rapture. Some situations are
Right.
raptured.
This could be some constructive, analysis of certain situations that reveals things that could change the ball game in
It's a
some
game changer
area.
event, possibly one
Yeah.
way or the other.
Yeah, the clarion call of judgment. All right, card 2. What will we find out or see? And Mr. O is using
The Secret Tarot. There we go. Secrets. It's another Lo Scarabeo tarot, Llewellyn Lo Scarabeo. And this, we hope, will tell us
what we will find out or see.
What we need to see. What we will find out.
All right. Oh.
And we have the Three of Wands from the Secrets Tarot. So what we will see that is probably somebody has plans that will, maybe take them further. Maybe it's something that they've been building on. It could be a good thing or bad thing. I mean, if it's world conquest, maybe all factors are go and somebody's moving towards that. But more likely, it's probably something that's, not so bad. We may find out that there are strategies or plans that will affect some of these things talked about here. I'm not sure exactly how, but if things are really being reevaluated and possibly clarified to create meaning for something, maybe this plan really was always there and is now getting a go ahead of sorts or just being picked up.
I think what we'll see is that somebody's plans, that are revealed, may play into that, are being judged or evaluated. Somebody's planning. It may be something we know already, or, it may be, and it's just being revealed about them. Or it may be plans that have been in the works but are now about to be revealed.
It could be a little early, but I'm wondering if it's about more of the banking stuff going on. And the reason I say that is because, of course, wands are enterprise and by extension, some amount of banking, vendoring kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so maybe the idea of the revelation is that something really has to be done with how banking is done, how people's savings are kept, how things, and I don't understand banking at all. I mean, I'm sure there's
economy in general too.
Yeah.
That something might be coming. There are prices everywhere. I saw an article about prices in France and how it's affecting, some business owners like bakeries that do baguettes and things like that. And so I can't help but wonder, if this is something economic or, like you said, maybe having to do with the banking industry. Because really, it's hard to imagine, that all of the stuff that's going on today, that there isn't some serious price gouging going on.
Well, to say nothing of the fact that, with this sense of turmoil, a number of people could really devastate things by moving money around at this time or creating a panic that makes a lot of other people move money around.
But I'm not totally sold on this idea yet of banking and finance.
Okay.
We'll see what other perspectives need to be considered, and we'll be using our shared deck for this.
I'll shuffle first.
The Tarot of Oppositions. We said that together because it's our shared deck. And we'll both shuffle that one.
And I'm opposed to giving it back to you.
I seem to have no arm room here, Mr. O.
Yes, I'm the arm person here.
I will turn sideways. There we go.
Alrighty, thank you. And I love your new haircut.
Oh.
Yes, it's so soft.
Why, thank you.
So I think this does give us a handle on what are other perspectives. Not only do you get both the reversed and upright meaning in the card, but the use of the deck implies that maybe there is a middle ground that you could find, you know, that liminal in-between space.
Go ahead.
Why, thank you. And it's the upright King of Wands.
Upright King of Wands.
Yes.
And that's card 3. What other perspectives need to be considered?
Well, you know, because we consider both here, the reversed, and it looks a little gnarly there, maybe this is saying that the perspectives to be considered in terms of this as enterprise, maybe carrying over from there, whether it's banking or not, is there are good players and bad players here. There are people who are of goodwill and want to take things forward, but there are also some people who may be selfish and we should not necessarily trust, or we should check out what they're offering here.
That's right. With the Tarot of Oppositions, it just shows both upright and reversed. It's an interesting thing in this position. Okay, so, you know, there's, what should I say? If this is about an individual, you know, this could be somebody that people either like or dislike, you know. Somebody who rubs people the right way, somebody who rubs people the wrong way, some people the wrong way. I almost feel here like
That's a good point.
What we really need to realize here is this type of person seems to play both sides. And that's what we need to think about here, is how they're playing us. You know, is everything on the up and up? Or are there ulterior motives? Which brings me back to the Trump trial, but it could also bring us back to other things like the banking, etc.
Yeah.
Whose best interests do they have at heart here?
With any of the situations we talked about from last week, too, you know?
Maybe. We just got to see what will play out this week. What is the overall impact is next. And for that, we use my Healing Light Tarot. One more shuffle to go. All right.
So what is the overall impact of this?
It's anybody's guess.
Well, it's the Wheel of Fortune, and it is upright.
It is upright, which is positive. Maybe this is going to, you know, whatever's happening here may turn things in a more positive direction. It definitely involves, you know, what's really interesting about this reading is we got karma with Judgment here. We got karma with the Wheel of Fortune here. Somebody's karma may be playing a role here. Boy, that throws me back into the Trump trial again, doesn't it?
Yes.
But it's like as if things are now shifting to a more positive direction. You know, maybe not for this individual here we spoke about, but for in some way.
Well, when I think of the Wheel of Fortune in this context, I also feel, too, that the impact could be played out in a cycle, i.e. that this is also saying, too, whatever this is, moving towards a better situation may still take an amount of time, that it may still
That
involve a
is true.
cycle, a turn of the wheel before we get there.
It's positive. It's possible that some negative cycle is ending and a better cycle is now going to be the result of all of this. And maybe it stems from the scrutiny that's happening here. And I feel that that could lead to better things, in the positive. Maybe it's a Swiss bank thing. Maybe this is going to end up being, like government. You got to be accountable too for what you do.
Well, I hate to use the woke word, but maybe if the first card is saying that the tone of things is to kind of awaken people or situations to a better, thing they should be doing, and then the next thing is that because we will see that there is progress for our plans, or there's a way to move our plans forward, we just have to really consider who's really helping us here, or whether somebody is duplicitous in any sort of way. So yeah, this stuff takes time to play out. I sort of see the Wheel of Fortune saying to us really that it's going to take a while to see where these things are really going to go.
What's really noteworthy so far about this reading is everything is upright. Even though we consider both sides on that card did come out upright.
Well, you know what, dear? I think you just jinxed it so that the last card will probably not be upright.
Stop that.
And of course, the last card's position is what will win the weird week.
What will win the weird? What could win?
The kind of strategies or outcomes that could happen. And of course, I used the Global Fusion Intuitive Tarot by Wayne Rodney. It's a beautiful deck that my wifey got me for Christmas, I think. Or around there. Maybe it was my birthday.
Maybe it was your birthday.
Sorry, I don't remember. I just like the deck, though.
I think it was Christmas. I do.
One more.
You and the card shuffling. You need to take card shuffling 101.
No comment.
Okay.
Yes, of course it's reversed.
But what is it?
It's the Queen of Swords reversed. So
well,
that's just saying that despite all the positive seeming things here, we might have to be prepared for being a little bit harsh, a little bit reality, has bites, kind of idea here of deploying things. Because the Queen of Swords is about a deployment of decisions or possible forces.
Well, I don't like the King and Queen of Swords very much.
Especially when they're reversed.
When they're reversed, not when they're upright. But I will say this. Sometimes the Queen of Swords has this when reversed, has this going for her. In that, sometimes you have to take a colder outlook on things. You have to be very cold and not let your emotions dominate, not allow yourself to be swept up with emotional frenzy. But on the other hand, if you are too cold and calculating, you could get to the point of being cruel or vindictive. And so I wonder here who or what this could be relating to.
Right. I don't think it's necessarily a person. I think it's more likely a gestalt of people's feelings, or maybe it's a particular agency.
Or the cold arm of the law or justice.
Well,
just saying.
A lot of times I want to depersonalize it from being a person, possibly, because I feel the idea of being harsh still serves the idea of doing what has to be done, even when some may not like it. And of course, if we were talking about the indictment, we know that will definitely happen. But I could kind of see it too with some of the other situations, whether it's Putin's shenanigans or Netanyahu's, somebody's going to like what's happening, but maybe more likely others won't.
Well, that was last week, and
That's true.
he is being arraigned, which is why that's still in the news. Of course, the nuclear thing with Putin and Belarus will still be in the news, and the Swiss bank and all of that. But nothing may be decided on or change on these issues
That's
this
what I think
week.
because of that, actually.
But I also think the Queen of Swords could indicate that, there could be, maybe it's undetermined how everything is going to play out by the end of the week, because there's a lot of cloudiness and uncertainty with the Queen of Swords. She has a kind of foggy head and is unable to think clearly enough to make logical decisions when it's reversed. And so if I look at it that way, I think to myself, maybe this is whatever's happening here is gonna take far longer for this to play out, which again could be the Trump arraignment, because he's not going to go to trial for some time.
Right. It could be clearly
You
into
could
next
delay it
year.
even longer, right?
And I sort of see the essence of time here in most of these cards, not in every one of them, but even in here, this is really about a strategy that is not quite implemented or not quite realized.
Yeah.
So it takes time. All of these things, whatever they're really connote to, are just talking about that.
Is someone trying to buy time here?
Well, they say that with much of the litigation that Trump has been involved in over decades, that has been his most big strategies to delay certain outcomes.
Well, this could be with other things too, because
Sure.
remember, Netanyahu, since we brought all that up from
That's
the last
right.
week, he's just delaying his decision to implement things. He didn't say he wasn't going to do it. So, there could be that. So let's recap this, and we'll just have to see how the week ahead plays out. Clearly, with judgment here being the focus or the theme, there's either going to be some justice served, or what you sow you reap. Somebody's going to get what they deserve, whether it's good or bad.
It could be a come to truth moment.
It could be a renewal. It could be something transformative too, an awakening. We wake up to some new reality.
A learning or a teaching moment.
All right, and then what we will find out or see, the mysteries, is the Three of Wands, and the Three of Wands to me indicates that that there is long range planning going on, or that, time is involved here. Time is involved in some way with whatever the situation is.
Whether this is enterprise or other things going on, there's an essence of it really needing to grow, to plan it, to organically move it along and nurture it to move to its goals.
All right, and then what other perspectives need to be considered? We have the King of Wands here, and the King of Wands, we're looking at both upright and reversed, and I really got the feeling when I saw this with other perspectives that this is the kind of individual or even situation that really divides people. Some people like what's going on, and some people are diametrically opposed to what's going on.
Well, we also thought, too, that it could be maybe the kind of situation or person or entity or whatever that wants to find its way to take advantage of anything that happens, So it's like a little bit of disaster capitalism. It's a little bit of Mother Teresa.
Disaster capitalism again is. All right, so finally, number 4, what is the overall impact? Well, I think the overall impact, like he said,
it's in the lap of the gods.
May take some time to play out, or really, it's fate and destiny. It almost seems like some of this is destined to go the way it's going.
Astrological?
And finally, what could win the weird week? We don't know. I think it's really uncertain. I do think that, maybe a cold, hard look at things needs to be taken. I also feel that, there's just a lot of fogginess and uncertainty here.
Sometimes strong medicine is bad medicine, but sometimes bad medicine is real bad medicine.
So one thing I want to point out is we have a couple of wands here. Like Mr. O said, maybe this has to do with business and finance. I want to remind Mr. O, too, that Trump is a businessman. And some of what's going on is relating to how he handled his papers and his books, related to a certain payout that happened. And so, we have to see what the indictment says this week, I
Right.
guess.
So from that context, this could look like, the indictment will have a lot of information about, the severity of his crimes or what he's accused of.
And I don't want to make this the beat up on Trump show. This is not it at all. But he is in the news, and this is up and coming. And a lot of these cards are looking like it could relate to a fateful moment, at least in our history, which we know this is. But it could be also a fateful moment for something happening in the world. So we're just going to have to see
We will.
how this plays out.
And, the only other last thing I could say is that, of course, it is happening this week for Mr. Trump, and it is probably going to be the biggest news item this week unless something even more unimaginable could actually happen.
Yeah.
Let's keep our fingers crossed on that.
So, everybody, stay tuned, and we'll pick this up again next week and see where the week takes us. And thanks, everybody, for watching this show, liking this show. If you like what you see, please subscribe to our channel.
Tell your friends, too. Anybody that's got a little bit of a bent for world affairs, politics aside, whatever, tell them to watch us.
We love to hear your opinions. Please constructive and not picking on us,
We're trying to be as objective as we can.
And let's see what we can come up with every week for you. All right.
Until your next
weird week.
Oh, well. You know what we mean.
We bid you farewell and good luck going forward. Bye-bye, everybody.